Well, hello, guys. I want to share a midweek service and I want to gear it and pitch it for the kids in the church this week. I was reading, boys and girls, and all the adults out there who might be listening, about the prophet Isaiah, and I found his story in 2 Kings chapter 19. He first comes on the scene when there's a massive threat against the city of Jerusalem where he was living. King of Jerusalem at the time was a man called Hezekiah, a king called Hezekiah. And he was under major threat because the Assyrian army had marched and was besieging the city of Jerusalem. And the king from Assyria, Sennacherib, sent a message to Hezekiah and said, you better surrender now while you've got a chance. And Hezekiah sent a message to the prophet Isaiah. And basically, he said, listen, won't you pray to your God, and maybe we'll have some help come our way. And then what happened was Isaiah answered on behalf of the Lord and said, God has already heard. God knows what's going on. In fact, the king of Assyria is going to withdraw because there is a threat in another direction. God has already decided to save you. Well, then another threat arose, and the king from Egypt, way down in the south, began to threaten Sennacherib, the king of Assyria. And so he had to look south. Once again, he turned his gaze towards Jerusalem and said, this is your last chance, guys, to make a quick deal with me. And I've summarized it in 3 drawings. You see, the first drawing is King Sennacherib from Assyria taking a look towards Jerusalem in the east and saying, you guys better surrender. Well, then along came a threat from a town called Libnah. On the other side, Libnah to the west, and Sennacherib had to divert his forces to go and deal with Libnah to the west. Well, that wasn't all the bad news. Along came Egypt to the south, and Sennacherib had to look south, and he realized he was in big trouble, and he, tongue-in-cheek, one more time decided that he would look that way and offer Jerusalem one last chance to help. And boys and girls and everybody listening, it just made me think that there are 2 phases. You see, when Hezekiah, the king of Jerusalem, got that second threatening letter, he went to God himself. He went to the temple, he opened the letter, and he poured out his heart directly to the Lord. He didn't need the intermediary prophet Isaiah anymore. And it talks to me about 2 phases in our lives. First of all, we go through a phase where we call out to God and we say, I need your help, Lord. See, our faith is not personal. It's not my faith. But there comes a time like King Hezekiah, phase 2 in our Christian lives, where we say, I need you, God. I don't need your help, but I want you. I need you. And Hezekiah cried out, oh, my Lord, you alone are God. Hezekiah had grown in his faith to the point where it was now personal. He didn't need Isaiah to step in the way. And there'll come a time, boys and girls, where your faith becomes really personal. It'll become individual to you. You won't need mom and dad to be your intermediaries, to encourage you to read the Bible, to encourage you to go to church. There must come a time in your faith where it goes from needing someone to encourage you to turn to God to where you turn to God for yourself. May the Lord bless you and help this process to happen in each of our lives. God bless.